Hey, my name is Donnie Lowy from Closeoutexplosion.com. Hope you're doing well today. So today I'd like to talk to you about how to negotiate for closeouts. When you want to buy a closeout, the more information you have available, the better of a negotiation you're going to be able to conduct. So the first thing you want to know is, why is the retailer or wholesaler selling that closeout? Are they selling that closeout because they don't have any customers for it at all, and you do have customers for it, so then you could offer them a much lower price because you know they don't have another way to sell it? But let's say the retailer is simply looking to sell it because the season is over, and if they don't sell it, then they're going to have to put it in storage, and they're going to bring it out next year. And let's say the storage doesn't cost them anything because they're paying a fixed cost for it, or they have other products, however it may be, but they're not paying an additional cost to store those items. Then you don't really have that much leverage, because if you don't buy it, they'll just store it until next year. But you need to know that. But let's say they tell you, look, the reason they want to sell that closeout item is because your customers absolutely do not like the color of the item. Let's say it's a really nice woman's hat, but it's in a very bright green color that their customers don't like. Now, you might not want to buy it either, because if their customers don't like it, your customers might not like it either. But let's say your customers do like the bright green color hats. Then you might decide to buy those hats, but still when you negotiate, you say, look, I know you can't sell it, so I'd like to offer you a lower price, which is fair, because you're not going to be able to sell it otherwise, and then you buy it. But now, let's say you're not even sure if your customers are going to buy that color. So you tell that ahead of time. Tell that to the seller. Say, look, you know what, it is a nice item, but I myself, I'm not sure if I'll be able to sell it, so I want a price that's low enough that will cover some of my risk, or will make it worthwhile for me to buy that item in case that I'm not able to sell it. So, okay, that's another thing you want to do. Now, let's say it's an item that's in very, very big demand, and there are other people who are interested in buying that closeout. You might decide to still negotiate with them, but don't negotiate to the point where the seller doesn't want to sell it to you anymore, or the seller doesn't even want to do business with you, because you'll miss out on an item that you can sell. If there's an item that you can sell for $100 and the closeout seller is willing to sell it to you for $50, yeah, you might be able to negotiate for a lower price. But if you know you could buy it for $50 and sell it for $100, to me that sounds like a really good deal. Now, you could try to negotiate further, but if the item is in really big demand, you don't want to, in the middle of your negotiation process, another customer comes along and buys that item. As a wholesaler myself, I've had situations where I've had products in my warehouse. Someone has come in, they're negotiating, they're thinking about it, they're calling someone on the phone, they're discussing with their partner, they might call one of their customers, and meanwhile, during that time, someone else walks into the warehouse, they see that product, they ask me how much the product is, I tell them, and they buy up the lot. So if there's a product that's in demand, you need to make that decision quickly. Because even if a customer doesn't walk in person, the seller might get a phone call, the seller might get an email, and they might make a sale for that product. So there's definitely a lot of good ways to negotiate. And another thing I'd like to give you some really good advice is, one way to negotiate for a lower price is by increasing the quantity that you're willing to buy. So if the seller has 200 pairs of shoes for sale, and they offer you a closeout price per pair, then ask them, how much would you give me if I buy 20 pairs of shoes? What price would you give me if I buy 50 pairs? What if I buy the entire lot? But don't right away offer to buy the entire lot. Do it gradually. First get the price for 20 pairs, for 50 pairs, and then for 200 pairs. Because if you right away just offer to buy the 200 pairs, they might not give you that much of a lower price. Alright, my website is Closeoutexplosion.com. The next time you are in New York, you're welcome to visit my warehouse. If you have any questions or comments, please let me know. And I'm looking forward to doing business with you. Have a great day.